I barely spend any time on email. In fact, it's probably usually 4 or 5 minutes a day. I check my email basically on the walk back from getting my morning coffee on my phone, respond to my emails, and it's done. By the time I'm down at my desk, it's completely out of the way. And I'm going to use this video to show you what I do to make that happen, how that is achievable. There are so many email productivity hack videos out there and guides out there, but I just thought I'd show you what I do, because I don't think there's anything out there that has a combination of all of these different things. So it starts with the most important step, which is not checking your email so often, turning off all notifications, and really only responding to email as infrequently as you possibly can for your role. So for my job, marketing consultant for architects, I'll actively have 30 to 40 clients at any given time. There is a lot of email. There is a lot of back and forth. Clients send me lots of questions, but none of it's really urgent. I mean, something terrible happening on site at one of your projects that's urgent is not the same kind of thing that happens to me. At the very worst, I have, an Instagram post that was 10 minutes later than it was supposed to be. So nothing nothing too dramatic that I have to worry too much about. So for me, once a day is a good amount. But even if, in your firm, you look to move to 3 times a day, you'll get a lot of productivity out of just checking email 3 times a day, or even better, twice a day, than you will having it constantly appearing throughout the day. So here's how I do that. I use Google Suite to manage my email. Most architects I speak to use Outlook. So the tool I'm about to show you probably won't apply for your firm, but if your email is set up through Google Suite, what you can do to make it more convenient is a tool called Adios.ai. And Adios.ai plugs into your Google email. It's completely free, and it allows you to set specific delivery times. So if I log into my email account, you can see that basically my time is midnight. So 12 a.m. That's all my email gets delivered to my inbox at 12 a.m. If I log into my email throughout the day, I don't see any new emails coming in. They're just not there at all. So this tool isn't available to you if you're not using Google Suite, but a little bit of willpower goes a long way. There are also email clients that you can download. I recommend going on to a website called Product Hunt, where you can look for email clients, and increasingly the new clients that are coming out for email are all including email batching as a tool, even if you're using Outlook. So move away from your normal email client, and you may have more options in terms of productivity. So that's the first step. The next thing I do is one final detail on that. You can actually set up an automatic reply, whether you're using Adios or whether you're just using a vacation reminder in your email, putting it onto holiday mode. And that can be useful if you feel that you need to send a response to people every 4 days that they email you. You can send a response and have that say, if your matter is very urgent, please call my number. But if it isn't, please wait, because I'm going to be checking my email at midday and 5 p.m., etc., etc. That's maybe a courtesy thing that you might need to do. And if that's the case, I'd recommend that. Although I've found generally it kind of annoys people, and most people expect email to be replied to so slowly, generally, that the fact that you are going to get back to them in a very organized and efficient way within a matter of hours is usually enough for a lot of people. But it's situation dependent, depending on what you're doing. So the next tool I use is Calendly. So Calendly is a booking tool, which means that I can have a link in my signature where anybody can book a time for a call. And it synchronizes with my calendar, so it knows when I have time available. It knows when I'm not meeting with clients. And I just get a notification from Calendar saying that a client or somebody else has booked a call. It's really fantastic. You can also use this tool through your website and set up payment requirements. So if you're doing any sort of new client consultations and you're charging for that, you can have the client have one click, pull up your calendar, identify which time they would like to meet with you, pay for the time, and this will also handle reminders, rescheduling, text message reminders. It's got absolutely everything. So it's really fantastic. I really recommend Calendly. So the next thing I do to make my email run a little bit better is I set up filters that get rid of junk mail. So I'm a fan of email marketing. I think that businesses should send newsletters. And if you follow my content, you'll see that I'm always, basically kind of pushing architects to send more email, not just like a Christmas email or a half yearly thing, but frequently to stay engaged with a really important audience. But as a personal sort of productivity thing, I like to keep my personal email and my work email separate. I will sign up for newsletters and have them come to my personal email, but when I'm at work, I really don't want all these newsletters arriving in my inbox. Things like Kogan, something like this, brands that I've bought something from that send me like multiple emails a day is really unproductive. And it means that when Adios delivers my email in the morning, I could easily have like 100 and something emails all just sitting there. And, maybe 10 or 15% of those are important or something that I need to reply to. So what I do is I create a filter in my email client for any email that contains the word unsubscribe. Because generally speaking, newsletters will contain the word unsubscribe or they'll contain the word update your preferences. You will find some emails that will use different copy and they'll sort of sneak through the net. But if you take a term like unsubscribe and you create a filter, so has the words unsubscribe and search, you can see basically all of the non-personal emails. These are just all the newsletters, all the stuff. And then it's just a matter of creating a filter, and then you can do with it what you want. You could create a label or a category called junk and send it there, or newsletters and send it there. Or you could just do what I do on my business account, which is just delete it, because a lot of the times I'm not looking to read these emails on my work email address. So you can have them skip the inbox and be deleted, so that when your emails appear in the morning or when you check them manually in the afternoon, you're not going to see any of those emails, and it's all just going to be emails from actual people for the most part. You'll still get some spam coming through saying we do the best SEO services and stuff like that, but you just deal with those as they come. Okay, so remove all unnecessary emails, super important step. The next thing that I do is I don't spend a lot of time sending lengthy emails. I don't write lengthy emails. I much prefer to record a video. In many cases, the emails that I respond to are clients asking me for advice on something specific. They'll send me a link, they'll send me a web page, they'll send me their Instagram account, they'll send me something, or a document or a PDF, and they'll say, could you give me some response on this? And that would be quite a lot to send an email. So what I use is this Chrome plugin called Loom. It can work for any browser. They have a desktop version, and it allows you to record screen capture of your entire screen like I'm doing right now. And it puts your little face in the corner, but you don't even need to turn on the camera. You can just have audio. And by the time you've hit stop and you're done recording, it's already uploaded. You've got a link and you can just drag it. You can just paste it into an email, and it will actually embed it in the email if you're using like Gmail. But if not, it's a link that people can click on and they can watch the video and they can see your screen, and it's incredibly useful. If anything's longer than 1 or 2 sentence response, I usually find it is quicker to send a video because it's so easy. And you can see, in this little gallery of videos, it also gives you a good little look back on all the little haircuts and repetitive fashion choices you've made, the entire range of Uniqlo hoodies over time. So it's kind of good to be able to go back and see some of these things as well. So those are the major steps, okay? Just to summarize a little bit, check email less often, batch it. Use Calendly to manage your scheduling and rescheduling so that you don't have to send emails back and forth to find suitable times to meet or call people. Use an automatic response to give people your phone number if they have a truly urgent request and they need to talk to you. Use filters in your email tool to get rid of unsubscribes and update your preferences so that it cuts out a lot of the newsletter junk. Use Loom to create video recordings and video responses. And what you'll find actually is that this tool really catches on. When I start sending people Loom videos, they start signing up for Loom, and then they start sending me Loom videos. So we're just like back and forthing over video. But those are the main things. If you do these things, I think there's room for you to save a lot of time. I remember like earlier this year, I was at the Architeam conference, and I think it was Timothy Hill talking about, I could be incorrect there, but I think it was Timothy Hill talking about how he doesn't have email. And it reminded me a little bit of Glenn Murcutt, no email. You can accomplish a lot with no email. There's probably, it's a cultural change, but so many architects I speak to, particularly junior architects, that just spend so much of their day responding to email. I mean, Ask somebody in your firm or a firm that you know what they worked on today, and a lot of the time, yeah, they'll know it's just email. But even if you measured it, it would be even more email than they realize. There's just so much email. But if you're able to batch it, able to get it organized, and use some tools to make it a bit speedier, I think that there's a lot of room. There's probably the most important area of lost productivity in architecture firms from what I see. Well, yeah, a very important area. So let me know what you're doing with email, if it's something that you're struggling with, or maybe tricks that you've found that have helped you. Oftentimes it's, the trick will be in about figuring out how to establish a sort of a more efficient relationship with people, I guess, or setting expectations for people. And I know there's a lot of good advice out there. A lot of architects have picked up little tips and tricks along the way. So please share those, and I'll see you next time.